Alright, welcome back to MMG. So this video, it's going to be different because I've come to the realization that Americans are way more broke than I thought. And I personally could see it. Most of my private members, they're not American. Most of them. They're not. I don't know what percentage. I didn't go through the analytics or whatnot. But most are not American. According to Trump and everyone, right? America's the richest country in the world. So wouldn't its people be the richest in the world? Um, they should be, but are they? Well, if you took the population as a whole and you looked at their savings, their quality of life, I mean, their quality of life it's up there. But when you compare it to Europe and other, maybe Australia, Canada, and even a lot of the Asian countries, I Americans have the least savings. They have no real assets. Your home is not an asset. If you're not renting out your home and it's not producing you income, it's not an asset. It's a liability. You have to fix it. You have to pay taxes on property, right? You have to constantly fix it and maintain it. So this video, I'm gonna tell you guys the secrets again to getting rich, like self-help, right? And I've read all the books. All right. I have a lot of the paperbacks, but most of the time, for years and years throughout my 20s, whenever I was driving, I wasn't listening to music or some stupid radio host. I was listening to audiobooks. So self-development, self-help. Basically, why would I listen to someone who's not successful? I only liked listening to people who wrote books who became successful in life. So everyone knows about, a lot of those books. I'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of you guys need help. And this video is just more focused on that. First, we're going to look at some of the savings and how much people have in retirement and, how much they own in stocks, this and that. And then I'm going to get into, some of the things you guys really need to do to get yourselves out of this mess. Now, before I get into that, there is no get rich quick. There is no quick answer. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But you know what's harder than becoming successful, at least financially, and, your career and whatnot, is staying in the rat race and being miserable. And living for the weekend and doing a job you don't like, listening to your boss, that is much harder than having a real goal and purpose in life and trying to achieve it and going through all of the hurdles that are never ending. Never ending. First of all, everyone who wins the lottery, they end up even worse off in the end once they blow through all the money. All right? If you didn't earn it, you're going to lose it. And then you're going to be even worse off. Mentally, physically, and everything. Especially if you won the lottery. You had all this money, you were set, and then you started buying all these things, didn't understand how to manage money, and then you lost it all, and then, a lot of them end up with addictions, this and that. With success and wealth comes more and more and more responsibilities. Your problems actually grow in size. When you own a business, you are not just responsible for your own finances, your own family, and your own life. You now become responsible for everyone who you employ. Imagine the stress involved and the responsibilities, right? So, people who envy people with money, they're incredibly ignorant because people who actually earned it, their responsibility and the amount of stress and the amount of risk and the amount of time and the amount of sacrifices they put in to get there, to have that nice car or to have the big house, right? Is the person who envies them can't even fathom it. They don't even understand because they never had that responsibility. They never took risks in their life. They don't look at themselves in the mirror and realize that you are the problem. You can't blame it on everyone else. You can't even blame it on the government, although that's out of your, control. But what you could always do is position yourself and think ahead, right? It's like a game of chess. Life's a game. And it's not checkers, it's chess, all right? So, let's get into it. For example, here's my Instagram account. When do you guys think I started this? A long time ago. It took a long time just to grow it to this size, and it's being oppressed too. Like, I don't grow. Same with my Twitter and all my social media. I'm climbing a hill that is becoming steeper and steeper, personally. All right, here's a chart that someone posted on Twitter yesterday. And this is why I'm making this video. Most Americans lack savings. How much money do you have in your savings account? 45% basically have no savings of Americans. Like, maybe a couple $100. They live paycheck to paycheck. 24% on top of that have less than $1,000. 12% on top of that have 1 to 5,000. 5% have 5 to 10,000. Another 5% have 10 to 20,000. 4% have 20 to 50,000. 6% have more than 50,000. It doesn't take much to be in that top 6% now, does it? Now, immediately I'm thinking, does this include retirement accounts and stock accounts? No, I don't think it does. So, I looked around. It's really hard to find good data these days. It's all skewed and whatnot. But just know this. This is fact. The people who probably come up to that 5 to 10,000, because most Americans do not own stocks. They really don't. 54% do, but that's through their 401ks and retirement. Like, most don't have a brokerage account. And most don't invest in individual companies and try to grow their wealth through the stock market, right? Most just have a percentage of their check goes into their retirements, tax-deferred 401k IRA, and then just sits there and it waits for the next recession to get wiped out. Pretty much, all right? And why is that in the first place? Because an average person is stupid. Why are they stupid? Because they've been indoctrinated through the educational system. They don't teach them really how to become wealthy or anything. They teach you how to become a worker, a worker bee. You're just taught to clock that 9 to 5 card and throughout your life have no savings, spend, work, and that's what you're taught. They tell you to put money in the savings account. They did. They told us in high school, and I was like the only kid who was like, hey, what about inflation? And the teachers just looked at me like a deer caught in headlights. Like they don't even know what inflation is. Anyways, about half of Americans have absolutely nothing. Like, I'm talking, they have no money in their bank account. They have no retirement account. They have no stock account. Nothing. They're just one, they lose their jobs. They'll just go on the nipple or the dole and then try to find another shitty job. And year after year, they actually become poor. And if they ever have a good year or a good couple years, then they go out and they finance a car for 72 months or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. I drive around. I have an old car. It's older than 10 years. It used to be a really nice car. It is Lexus. But, and, I spent like 20 grand on aftermarket parts, souping it up, body kit, paint job, turbos, this and that. But, I drive around and I have one of the oldest cars now. It's only like, it's pretty old, but it is, you wouldn't be able to tell how old it is because I threw so much money into it because, tuning cars, it's a hobby and you can make the car look really great. But even if it's old, but, and I drive around and everyone has a new car. Most people do. I'd say half. Everyone's driving around a new car. How many of those people do you think actually own the car? How many are making payments? How many of those cars are leases? Most of them are like, they're making payments or they're leases, right? Now, do those people have any savings? No. But they're driving around in a nice car. Meanwhile, I'm not. But I'm in the top 3%. About to be 1% probably in 2020 with gold and silver and mining stocks, right? Easily. So, but am I going to go out and buy a new car? No. I don't have any payments, guys. I have no payments. I have no stress. It's probably why I look young. I don't live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? Your stuff can't own you. You have to own your stuff. If I go out and I buy a new car, or not, I'll never buy a new car off the lot, but I'll buy a lightly used car. I'll pay for it cash. I'll completely pay it off. Won't even have to worry about the payments. I have no worries. I have enough worries with my bank account just running businesses, right? Because every day there's something getting withdrawn because I have third parties running services, this and that for me because I'm a one-man shop. I don't want to hire anyone because it's hard to find good help these days. And then when you hire employees, it's because of regulations, this and that. It becomes too much of a burden and headache. But I do plan on building a different business someday. It has to do with cars and whatnot. I have patents. I have ideas. And that's going to roll into my self-help here. That's going to help you guys. I've read all the self-help books. They're all copies of like Dale Carnegie or Napoleon Hill. All right? I've read all those books as well. I'll get into that in a second. So, what do I have here? I was looking at a few things. So, most Americans do not have any money in the stock market. One of the paper's findings was that despite the fact that almost half of all households own stock shares either directly or indirectly through mutual fund trusts or various pension accounts, the richest 10% of the households control 84% of the total value of these stocks, and this was back in 2016. It's probably at 90% now. That's with the stock market doubling since then. 90% of the stock market is owned by like the top 5%. And then the rest is like pensions and your 401k IRA, and then your retail investor who dabbles around with stocks. All right. So essentially the stock market going higher and higher and doubling, it just makes the richer. And that's through, central banks and all that. That's why I'm telling you guys, MMT, helicopter money for everyone, a bailout of the public is coming. And they're going to get the velocity of money up, and then we're going to see hyperinflation. In the end, I don't know when, maybe 5-10 years from now, but in the end. So even if you don't own or trade individual stocks, there's a decent chance you have a 401k account or a retirement account or a pension. Right. So at least half the public have a pension or some sort of retirement account. So 54% of respondents own stocks directly or as part of a fund through their employer or whatever. But most Americans don't have stake in the stock market. So here's a Statista stat. Oh, come on. They were showing me this. I have to pay, you have to pay monthly for this data. And I pay for so much data, and, monthly comes out of my account. But, here's another chart. The average person is in a horrible place for retirement. So this is, when was this? This is 2015 data. So you could double this because the stock market has doubled. Typical working age household has only $3,000 in retirement account assets. Typically near retirement household has only 12%. So ages 25 to 34 have around 13% for retirement. That's household. Not all households. All households have 0. So on average, they have 0 from ages 25 to 34. From ages 35 to 44, that's when they start thinking about this stuff. Household with retirement accounts, these are people with retirement, have 31,000. That's nothing. Until age 44, guys. All households, everyone on average, has about 1,400. Now you could maybe double this for now because the stock market's gone up so much and the economy's gotten a little better since 2015, right? So ages 45 to 54, all households on average have 10,000. Households with retirement accounts have 60,000. All households on average have 12,000 by age 55 to 64, and the households with retirement accounts, those are the people in, suburbia, whatever, in the suburbs, have 100,000. You cannot retire in 100,000. You know how fast that'll go? All households by the age 25 to 64, when they start pulling out, have 3,000. And then, the better off, the middle class, upper middle class, have 40,000. I mean, this is insane. Let's look at some newer data. Average 401k account for the people who have retirement accounts. This is 2019 data, CNBC article. So ages 20 to 29 have about 11,800 in their retirement. Ages 30 to 39 have 42,000. Ages 40 to 49 have about 100,000. Ages 50 to 59 have about 174,000 on average. And ages 60 to 69 to 70 have about, you can round it up to 200,000. Well, you can't retire on that. And by the way, this is at the peak of the bubble. So if the markets get cut in half again, cut all these numbers in half, and we're probably going to get inflation, and then you could cut it in half again. So essentially, these retirements that are tax deferred, right? That's how they sucker you in. You can't retire. Like no American, like on average, over 90% to 95% can't retire. They're going to work till they die, or I don't know. I don't know. That's what's scary about all this, right? This is what happens when central banks fund the government, basically. This is how everyone gets robbed silently through inflation. Now, pensions, private and public, those are bankrupt. They're not even funded. They're unfunded. So they're going to print the money and they're going to give it out to everyone. But you know what's going to happen? It's going to be worth a lot less. So you can probably cut that in half or by 75% in the next couple decades. So in the end, you still don't have retirement. All the people who work in the public sector who think they're going to cash out big, like, yes, I'm going to get my pension. No, you're not. You are. You're going to get it, but it's not going to be worth as much as you think. And the time And time versus your pension payout, as time goes on, it's worth less and less. Same with Social Security and all of it, right? And then you're going to get austerity measures in the end, like you see in France and Greece. It's going to eventually come here as well. And then they're just going to just take it away. That's why you don't get in bed. That's why you don't count on that. You have to rely on yourself, guys. And it's ironic. The universe has a way to pay back all of these people who think they're going to rob future generations of their wealth so they could get a cushy pension or retirement. The boomers, right? They thought that their retirement and the economy could keep going and they will outlive it. Or they won't outlive it. They all thought that the SHTF would happen after they die, like decades and decades down the road, because that's what all the statistics come out and all the government data and all that. That's what it says. That everything's going to be fine for the next 50 to 100 years. Don't worry about it. So people don't worry about it, but it's all BS. It never accounts inflation or recessions, right? So the boomers, the older generations who pretty much sold out their kids and grandkids and great-grandkids' futures, they didn't think they would outlive the retirement, and they didn't think they would live to see the end of the empire. But it's coming much faster than they anticipated, and that's how the universe or God or whatever makes things happen. All right, guys? You reap what you sow, no matter what. All right? That's another reason why I'm making this video. I want to help you guys, because the more I help people, the better off I'll be. Do I care about people? Sure, but in the end, I care about myself the most. I don't, a lot of people don't care about me. I don't have a lot of people who care about me personally. So, let's get to the fun stuff. All right. How to get on the right path towards success. All right. So the sooner you realize that money is not the goal, the sooner you're going to make money. Your goal it's not money. Of course, it is a part, you want it, right? You need it. Money, it doesn't make you happy. Things don't make you, things can make you happy. But in the end, what makes you happy is doing what you like to do and having time to do the things you like to do and, being able to provide for yourself and family and having a comfortable lifestyle, right? And having a secure future and having a level of importance in society, like you're contributing to humanity and to society, right? The more specialized and the more of an expert you are, and the more value you bring to humanity and society, therefore, the more you are rewarded by society. So, you build a product or service, it's the best. Guess what? Everyone's going to throw their money at you so they can have the service or product you provided. You cure cancer, you deserve to be the richest person on the planet. You deserved it. You earned it. Why? Because you saved more people than anyone else in human history. Does that make sense? That's free market capitalism. All right? You reap what you sow, you get what you earn. So if you're broke, you earned it. You need to look in the mirror. You need to change something, right? The first step is you have to, you can't lie to yourself. You can't blame others. You can't blame anyone. Just blame yourself. You think it's easy? It's not. Yeah, you guys think I don't make sacrifices? You have to make sacrifices. So, for example, I'm pretty successful at doing what I'm doing right now. Why is that? For one, I enjoy doing it. I started doing it on my own when I was a teenager. I found it interesting, fascinating. I always thought it was exciting. I liked economics and stocks and history, and I like thinking about that stuff. I think about it every day, all day, all day, all day. It's all I do. Um, and that brings me to one of the secrets. Think of what you like, think of what you're good at, think of what you see yourself doing, and then somehow monetize it. Create a product or a service. You like snowboarding? Create a school of how to teach people how to snowboard. Create snowboards. I don't know. Think of a way to monetize it. You like knitting sweaters? All right, knit some awesome sweaters, think of designs, and sell them online. And then automize it, right? Automate it. Uh, there's machines that knit sweaters, right? Maybe you could just make designs and patterns or something. You could take literally anything in this world and just try to make the best of it. And like the best, you have to think ahead, right? You have to look at your competition. You have to look at the market size. You have to look at the demand, supply. You have to fix a problem. And then monetize it. And before you go on that journey, you need some habits. You need to change yourself. You need to change your mindset. Every minute of every day. So you know that the Netflix special and then the book, The Secret. Some of the stuff's good. They tell you to make a visual board. What is it called? A visualizing board or whatever. Here's mine. I made this like 10 years ago or something like that. All right? Look in the camera. I'm holding it up. See that? I have all sorts of stuff on here. Got some hot chicks. I've got a yacht. Lambos, of course. Learjets. Nice home with a pool. Arnold, jacked. Medals. What else? I have some poor kids on the bottom starving because I do want a philanthropy, but the real kind, really helping people. Dogs, I love dogs. Boarding, I love snowboarding. I snowboard. Crotch rocket, just average guy stuff. So really, space exploration, massage. My back's always messed up. Boats, weapons. It's all the fun stuff, right? The guys like. So why do I have that? Well, I stared at it for many years, and then what happens is you brainwash yourself. Every minute of every day, every second, you have to think of what you want and how to achieve it. Literally. Every minute of every day. And then when you try to sabotage yourself, because you will, when you try to watch movies, TV shows, game, and you do all those things, deep down it's painful because you're wasting time. Because you're not moving forward in life to your goal. So how to trick yourself. You have to do something every day that moves you closer to your goals. And you have to do something, you have to have a base, a neutral base, that you do something every day that moves you closer and it was a success. My base is I work out like every day. No matter how bad that day was or how unproductive I was or whatever went wrong, at the end of the day, I still worked out, right? And then working out knocks out a bunch of birds with one stone, right? Because I still feel good about myself. I feel confident. I look good. I feel good. I'm healthy. You know what's expensive, right? Getting sick. That could ruin you. And that moves me closer to one of my major goals, which is just to be the best version of myself. Just be, you look at my arm, I'm jacked, all right? I want to be more jacked. I want to look better. You feel great when you look good. You have confidence. When you're physically superior to most people around you, they know it, you know it. It's great. It feels amazing. Money can't buy that, all right? what else? So I'm successful at one thing every day, and that keeps my motivation up. That keeps me going. I swear, if I've never worked out all my life, I don't know where I'd be. I have no idea. And listen, you're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna fail your way to the top. I've failed at so much in my life. It's unbelievable. But after a while, you build up a tough skin, right? Like, all right. So most people are so afraid of failing. That's why they never try anything. That's why they never try a business. They always go, yeah, but most people fail. I'm like, right. Actually, everyone fails when they start. You're gonna fail. I failed at like 5 businesses when I first started. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and then after a while, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna keep going, because when I do make it, it's gonna feel really great. So the more you fail, the better you're gonna feel, and the happier you are when you make it. And you're gonna eventually make it if you just keep going. You just have to keep going. All right, guys. You can't ever quit. You keep getting back on that horse. Now, the first thing is to brainwash yourself and to tell yourself you could do it, you're the best, and you can. Anyone could do it. That takes me to your friends and family. Now, everyone knows that anyone could really make it in life. You don't have to be some high IQ guy or anything. I can't even spell. My grammar's horrible. No one's perfect. You have to also know your weaknesses, all right? Just admit to yourself that you have weaknesses and then move on. And orientate your goals around where your weakness isn't gonna, prevent you from achieving them. So that's why I look at charts more than anything. I'm a visual person. Anyways, you have to get rid of friends and family that are toxic. Nobody wants to see you succeed who haven't succeeded in life or achieved their personal goals, whatever they may be. Why is that? For one, they don't want to lose you, because when you become more successful, you don't hang around losers. Two, you are a mirror to them. If you can make it and succeed, then it hurts them so much, because they know that you are not that much greater than they are, except that you took all the risks and did all the hard work, and it shows them that they are the losers and they chose their lives. Everyone chooses their lives. It shows your friends and family that they are where they are and they haven't achieved their life goals because they're lazy, they quit, they don't believe in themselves, they don't have what it takes, blah, blah, blah. But you did. Now, everyone has what it takes. Everyone does. It's just that some people just lie to themselves. You're only as successful as the excuses you make for yourself, honestly. So, guys, listen, it's really not easy. It's not. But I'm telling you, it's easier than being a part of the masses. It is much easier in the end. It's, and like I said, you have to fail your way to the top. Every failure is a learning curve and a stepping stone towards success. All right. So, have your vision, keep following it. Now, these first self-help books, right? All the self-help books and all those gurus, right, like Tony Robbins and all of them, they're just copying the original self-help books from like Dale Carnegie, I think Napoleon Hill, and there's probably a bunch before that. Listen, self-help started when the old wise man at the campfire, through their own life learning lessons, right, and tribulations, would sit down with the kids, like, and it's kind of like philosophy as well. They would sit down and tell them what worked and what didn't, and don't do this, do that. Like Socrates sitting down with, and teaching a bunch of kids what to think about, what works, what doesn't, this and that. So that's all it is. It's just learning. But what are the books that helped me? Well, I read all the Napoleon Hill books, but the one that really stuck out to me that most people never read, and it sort of came out not too long ago, and it's like a secret one or something. It's called Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. That's a good one. What's another one you guys could read? And these are the ones that really, really worked, and I've read a lot of them, right? There's Action Strategies for Personal Achievement by Brian Tracy. And I like all of the Jim Rohn books, self-help books. And then there's that Outwitting the Devil. So just read those three, and I'm going to make more videos like this going forward. Those should help you a lot. Because, listen, a lot of people just keep reading self-help books, but they don't do anything. They just keep reading them because they make them feel good about themselves. But at the end of the day, without action, nothing's going to happen. So the Action Strategies for Personal Achievement, you should read that one first, in my opinion. And when is a good time to start? Probably right now. There's never a good time to start. Never, ever. You're never going to have enough money to start. You're never going to be in the right place in your life to start. It's never going to happen. I promise you. It's never a good time. The problems are always coming up in life. So, one of the things is, a lot of you guys need to learn, and my demographic, there's a lot of like younger guys who listen to me, right? Like in their early 20s. Listen, guys, my 20s. Yes, I started a lot of businesses even when I was in college and this and that. But my downfall, the only reason I'm not like really super wealthy and powerful right now, the only reason I'm telling you is because I chased girls. I partied my ass off in college. Like I was cool in college, not in high school. Well, I was in high school as well. But in college, like I would walk down campus and I would know everyone. I would have house parties with thousands of people showing up. There'd be taxi service. There'd be taxis lined up to take people away from my parties. We used to have 10, 13, 15 keggers. Like, that lifestyle was amazing. I don't regret it, but if I didn't do it, I'd be super well off right now. Like, very influential in the world, possibly. Who knows? But financially, I would be, all right? I would have bought Bitcoin in 2010. I knew about it. All right, so although I did invest back then as well, I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, so the only reason I did fail in all those businesses in my 20s was because of my lifestyle. My lifestyle was, I was, like I said, just having a good time. I was living for the moment, the present. I was thinking about the future, but I was too caught up with the present. Listen, don't chase girls. Let them chase you. They will chase you once you become successful. That's all it takes. That's all it is, guys. Never chase them. They'll chase you. Not that I chased them. I just, I worked out. I had friends. I was cool, right? And the party life was, I had a good time. It worked well for me. It worked too well. And that was my downfall for not becoming super successful in my 20s. That's why I couldn't focus on my business. You have to sacrifice. You're going to make sacrifices. You're going to get rid of people, a lot of people in your life. Listen, this is an easy way to get rid of people. If they're not actively helping you achieve your goals in life, then they're wasting your time. Get rid of them. I understand some family members you can't get rid of. All right, well, just cut them off. Stop picking up the phone. Ignore them. If they truly love you, they will help you. If they don't, then they won't. Then they just feed off of you, right? They need you for emotional support or whatever. But just don't let people waste your time, I'm telling you. There's three types of people you meet in this world. People who talk about other people. Those are the most toxic. The gossip people. Those are the most toxic people in the world. Just stay away from them. Leave them alone. You don't need to talk about other people. If you're gossiping about other people, if you love drama, you'll never be successful or happy. And nobody likes that person. Then there's this is most people. Most people talk about things like the new car, this and that. That's great, but if you have no plan to achieve how to get it, then what are you talking about? You're just wasting time again. This is the 1%. 1 out of every 100 people, and these people I almost never find or come across. Like literally, they're so hard to find. That's because they're always working. These people talk about ideas. These have to be your best friends. People who talk about ideas. You always want to be the dumbest person in the room as well. What else? So, how to start achieving things. I'm just giving you guys a few bullet points. Nothing serious here. Write down every day when you wake up. A good thing to do is meditate. Go find the book Barefoot Doctor. Or no. Yeah, just look up Barefoot Doctor. Chapter 2, Advanced Meditation. Of course, you have to turn into a habit. You have to do something for 30 days, a minimum, to make it a habit. If you don't, then you failed. So meditating, you got to do it every day for like a month. And most people can't do it. They just don't have the attention span. That's from all the technology, media, and it's gone. But if you want to be happy, you want to be healthy, you want to be a leader, got to be a reader. And you have to do stuff like that. You have to, if you have anxiety, meditation. Don't do drugs, meditation. All right. So wake up, do that, then write down what needs to get done today, and then find the thing that you don't want to do the most and do that first, and then everything else is in order. So you put it in order from things to get done. The first things that need to get done are the things you want to do the least, because those are usually the hardest things to get done and the most important. If you could do that, I promise you'd be the most successful person in the world. I can't even pull that off. I try to do it, but it's so difficult. But if you could do that, the world's your oyster, man. Like, you do that for a month, you will probably get out of debt, and I don't know. I don't know what will happen, because I haven't been able to do it myself. It's how difficult it is. This is how you to be a high achiever and to be somebody in this world. You have to beat yourself first. You have to beat your own mind and uncondition what you've been conditioned to be. From your parents telling you no all your life and all the people telling you you're a loser, to the educational system that has conditioned you to be a mindless sheep. All right? How to change your mindset, basically. Well, meditation helps because you have to catch your mind. It's called a monkey brain. If you could catch your mind thinking about things that you don't want to think about, that don't help you get anywhere in life, that's when you control your own mind. If you don't control your mind will control you. If you find yourself thinking about things that make you feel negative, or you're thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking about, or thinking about people that you shouldn't be thinking about, or you feel sorry for yourself, or whatever your dysfunction is, that's your mind controlling you. That's not you controlling your mind. Once you can start controlling your own thoughts, literally, in your brain, you ever just, when you're taking a shower or something, you all of a sudden you snap out of it and you're like, why was I thinking about that for like the past 15 minutes? Or why was I daydreaming about that, right? That's when your brain takes over. It's going to happen anyways. You can't always control it. I daydream. I find myself thinking about things all the time that I shouldn't be thinking about, but I'm more aware of it now than ever. And you have to control your own mind. And that's when meditation, you could read a Edgar Tolle book. Read his main book. I forgot what it's called, but that will snap you out of that. And when I mean read, just listen to the audiobook when you drive. Turn your car into a rolling university. You'll learn more in like 2 years or a year than you did in like 4 years of college. So I think that's enough for now. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Attention spans are gone again, so I can't make long videos. But for the people who could listen to my entire video and learn something, you're like, you're gonna be 1%. You're gonna be 3% if you're not already. There's a lot of people who are wealthy and successful and listen to me. Well, for those of you who are not, I'm telling you, it's much closer to your reach than you think. It's just that you gotta snap out of it. You have to do the things you don't want to do, and accept that. And then you self-develop as a person. You become more. You can solve problems. You can take more hits. You always see the world as a glass half full, not empty. And once you get that, there's no going back. All right. Hope this helped. Smash that like if it helped. Leave anything in the comment section. Share my videos so it helps other people and helps me to grow so I can continue to do this. Until next time, let me know what you guys want me to do next when talking about stuff like this, I guess.